Hi everyone, it's Oliver, otherwise known as OJ Slay on Instagram. I use they them pronouns and welcome back to my channel. On this half, I'm going to be using some trends that like kind of suck and make your makeup look worse in my opinion. And on this half, I'm just going to be doing makeup how I would like to see this done. So like whatever I do on this side, I will correct on this side. So if you're looking to update your look or possibly fix some issues, then stick around. Alright, so on this side, I'm going to be using a foundation that's just too full coverage. If I had one that was more of a wrong shade, I would, because I see it all the time where people try to make themselves look more tan but don't blend down their neck. So I'm just going to swipe on the Krylon paint stick and I'm going to put a lot of it on. And then it cakes up. Okay, that looks great, doesn't it? On this side, I'm just going to take a little bit of the Too Faced Born This Way. This is a more natural coverage, natural finish foundation. I'm doing this because I'm almost out and it's just easier to dip in. I won't be as full coverage, but like my skin will still look like skin. The other thing is if you have a shade that doesn't match you perfectly and you're wearing a less full coverage foundation, it is not as much of a problem. And I'm blending down my neck on this side. Take notes. I'm not saying I'm perfect at makeup, by the way, because I know I'm not. Like this looks just cakey and this looks more like my skin. And it just looks prettier to me. So next, it's time for concealer. A lot of people go way too light with their concealer and use too much. So this is the Jeffree Star concealer. I really only use this to highlight small spots. This is what I see some people doing. That looks hot fly and sexy to me. I'm also adding a little bit of the L'Oreal Infallible because this one's even a little bit more full coverage and a little bit more matte. And then a lot of people like to do like the fun Instagram hack where they take a contour stick while this is still on and just like... Let's just get into blending it out. So I'm going to start off with a brush because there's a lot here. I'm going to just, you know, get in there. And I might be exaggerating a little bit, but like honestly, I have seen people do this and think that they're looking good. And I think it's just unfortunate. Now that's the tea. So I'm going to take this Hank & Henry sponge. This is my first time using it. I'm kind of excited. And blend out this concealer. Oh, I forgot to blend out the lip contour. So like one of the big issues with putting this much concealer on is it just covers up the contour. Like that didn't do shit. So on the dews side, I'm going to be taking a more natural finish concealer. This is the NARS and this is pretty close to my skin tone. And I'm going to put this basically where I put all the huge highlights except not as big. And then now in a lighter shade, another natural dewier finish concealer is the Beauty Blender concealer. I'm just going to take it at like the highest point and then I'm just going to blend it out with the Beauty Blender. And now my preferred contour is the Chanel one because it's closer to my skin tone. I'm just going to take it on a Morphe JH08. Just put a little bit where I want it in like way more abstract shapes than a line. And once I have that on, I'm just going to take the fat end of my Beauty Blender and just go over it. It's already pretty much blended out since I applied it with a brush, not directly on with the stick. And because the contour and the concealer aren't so close together, they don't overlap like they did on the other side. On my no-no side, I'm going to be taking the Coty Airspun. So I'm just going to take a powder puff and like go in and just dump some of this out. Just like go in really heavy. And I'm even going to bake a little bit. How could this ever turn out bad? Like this is great. Now that my face is very well saturated with powder, I'm going to show you how I think it looks best. I'm going to be taking shades 15 and 20 of the Fit Me. Shade 15, I'm going to take on an under eye brush, just dipping in and then tapping off the excess, and just tapping it under my eye. And then I'm going to take a bigger, fluffier brush and dip it into the shade 20 for the rest of my face. Now this is close to my skin tone. I'm also still not taking that much. And I'm just pouncing it over my face. And that's it. That's all the setting I'm gonna do on my good side, I guess. Now for brows. Brows are problematic. They're super easy to fuck up. One key rule for brows is to never use black. Just don't. But Some people do their eyebrows too bold. Okay, we can get into shape, like the squiggle or the line. That's not acceptable anymore. I mean, live your best life, sweetie, but also like if you're trying to stick with the where it's at, it's not there, definitely not. But I'm going to be going in with a dark shade and just doing a brow that's too bold. So let's start just by filling it in, especially up against this white setting powder. This looks great. Oh, biggest pet peeve is a harsh stop. Like a front line like that. I gotta make sure I get a good arch. Okay, this looks great. This looks great. So now I'm just gonna take the Maybelline Micro Slim in a more natural shade and just do a really natural fill on this brow. I'm not even really gonna carve it out. So I think as you can see, a theme is building here. More is not always more. So now for eyes. It's time to prime the eyes. This is controversial. I already have some concealer there, just put a little more. So for eyeshadow, I'm just gonna be trying out this new palette from Iconic London, the Jade Slay palette, just like a natural peachy, neutral palette. So first I'm gonna take the shade Marshmallow, this like light color. I'm just gonna pack that on the lid. All right, so now I'm going to take this dark brown without a transition shade, this one called Deep Soul, right there in the corner. And I'm just gonna try to blend it on top of this really light shade. Alright, so that looks pretty good to me. I don't know if that looks good to you. And then I'm gonna take like a dark shimmer shade. How about this one called Velvet Crush? And I'm just gonna put that on the lid. And then just like blend a little. Okay. So next is my favorite step. I think it's the most iconic step. I'm gonna take this Marc Jacobs gel liner in black and just put it all over my lash line. And some people will even try to do a wing with this, which I don't wanna do. My eye feels heavy. So now I'm just gonna put this in my waterline too. Now black in the waterline was like the biggest thing. And now it's really not. It's only really a thing when someone's doing a really smoky, well-blended glam. But I found that it's not just in the waterline, it's actually below the waterline is what I find is most common. And make sure you close off the circle. That looks good to me. That's a hot, flying, sexy eye look if I've ever seen one. Moving on to my side, I'm not gonna set the base with a light shadow. Rather, I'm gonna take a blending brush and start off with this more warm-toned peachy nude called Bellini. I'm just gonna tap it off and start blending it through my crease. I think this would be an appropriate time for me to say, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I do have a huge giveaway going on this channel at the moment. So if you want to win, then go ahead and check my last upload. It's super easy to enter. So now I've just blended that out just a little bit. Then I'm gonna take another blending brush and just take this deeper brown right here called Taupe de Taupe. That's a great pun right there. And just put that even lower. Now that I'm almost at the end, I will actually go in with the same brown shade I used on the other eye, just a lot less of it. Now for my lid shade, instead of going in with something super dark, I'm actually gonna go in with this nice light pinky shade called Wonderland. And then I'm just gonna blend that in. Now for the lower lash line, I'm going to take the peach shade and the mid-tone brown shade that I used. Now, because I'm trying to keep the two sides very similar in the products I use, I'm going to take a Fenty eyeliner in the shade. It's the brown shade, I don't see the shade name, in Big Truffle. And I'm actually just gonna put it on the outer corner of my lash line. And there you have it. A much more current eye look that's super easy, like natural, versus what some of y'all be walking around wearing. Now going back to the face, it's time for contour. This will follow a similar principle to the cream contour. Let me just kick off this bake real quick. I'm just gonna go in with that dark contour shade in the line. on my forehead, on the jaw. I think I need a little more on the cheek. What about you? What do you think? So for my side, I'm going to go in with the Hourglass palette and just take a little bit of the bronzer. Rather than using a darker foundation shade, just bronze appropriately and you will look more tan. And now that I've bronzed a little bit, I'm also going to contour a little bit, but I'm going to take a fluffier brush and I'm going to go in with this medium shade, maybe mix in a little bit of that one. Tap off the excess and just go in really lightly on the pinpoints of all the place where I bronzed. Just blend it again with the bronzer brush. And there you have it. That's my contour and bronzer for a normal day. Next up, I'm going to be taking this BH Cosmetics blush palette. So I'm gonna mix like these four. And so I'm doing it how everyone teaches you to do it, like swirl your brush around, right? And smile. This blush, I love it. I love it so much. Now on my side, I'm gonna go in with the bright color, just to prove that I'm not like cheating, on a more fluffy blush brush. Tap off the excess and do it a little bit higher. I actually like to blend it in with my eyeshadow. Just a natural flush. Oh, I feel like I look great. So now that I've done that, I think it's time to bake again while we do the lashes and lips. So I'm gonna take some more of that setting powder that I used earlier, take it on the sponge and just like bake. So now that I'm baking, it's time to do lashes. So I feel like the people who do this makeup often have really, really long lash extensions, but I don't. So I'm just gonna use the Naked Lash from Ardell on my side and just some mascara. And then on this side, I'll try to find a big lash and I'll be back. Okay, so here's my lash for this eye. It's actually 2 lashes. And here's my lash for this eye. This one is intentionally mildly wonky, so you can't call me out on it because it was indeed on purpose. I'm not even joking. So now I'm just gonna dust the bake off again. So on this side, I'm gonna take some Urban Decay All Nighter before I put some highlight on. So now that my face is nice and wet, I'm gonna take the shade Icon from the palette. This really, really light shimmer, and I'm just gonna take it and like, doesn't highlight your favorite? Like, Now for my side, I'm actually gonna do highlight before I set my face because I think it looks better. And I'll actually use another shade from this palette just to prove that it's not a setup. I'll take the shade Peach Fizz because it's a little bit darker. I'll just take it on a fan brush and just do a little right there. And then instead of taking a super long lasting setting spray, I'm gonna take a hydrating mist. This is the Ultra Fine Mist from Glow Recipe. And I'll just do like 3 sprays. So now I think it's time for lips. So I'm gonna take this Jeffree Star in shade Can't Relate. It's just a light nude matte lipstick. And I'm just gonna, on my side, I'll take a little bit of brown lip liner. So now that I have the lip liner on, I'm gonna take a tiny bit of the lipstick and then blot it in with my finger. So there we have a like little bit of an ombre lip and time for a little bit of gloss. So that is the completed look. This is Karen. I'm not saying my technique is perfect. Like, you don't have to do this. You just have to not do this. So if you enjoyed today's video, then I would love to hear it from you in the comments. You can show me some love with a like and a subscribe. I hope you all enjoyed and learned something, or at least had fun watching me do this to myself. And I hope you have a good one. Goodbye.